We are just about to begin what some call the holiday season. That's a term that covers lots and lots and lots. This week, of course, we celebrate Thanksgiving, and then it will be Advent, and then it will be Christmas. You know, holidays are regular days that are made special. Sometimes they are civic observances which have lots of values of religion in them. And other times they are made holy when they are religious holidays. In fact, the word holiday is really the two words holy and day. Well, holidays are wonderful. They give us reason to get together with families and friends. Like we talked about with the children, probably eat a big meal and let the kids run around and play, let the adults talk, and then maybe fall asleep for a nap. Holidays are the way we hold on to each other. When we sit together, when we eat together, we can look around the table and see our family and our friends with us. We can see all the ways that we are connected with the people in our lives. We can thank God that the people in our family who are old are still alive. We can thank God that the people who were sick are getting well. We can thank God for babies who have been born into the family. And if people in our family are not well, we can figure out together how to help them. With our family and our friends, we all get strength to carry on with our lives together day in and day out. It seems to me that holidays and holiday get-togethers are also times that we have the opportunity to hear the stories of the family. The children can tell the stories of all the things that they are doing and what they are learning, and the adults listen to those stories. And the adults can tell the stories of where the family came from, and the children listen. They can tell the children about the people who are no longer living in the family, but who were once a part of their family together, and how those people touched their lives. These stories are the glue that hold families together, and they are the expressions of our lives that share our hopes and our worries for our life together. Well, you know what? Jesus today is echoing the words of Bobby McFerrin. Well, at least sort of. In the scripture reading that we had today, Jesus encourages us to move away from our worries over our usual, Jesus is right on target about us and our human nature. We have this great desire to have control and comfort in our lives. And we really, if we're honest with ourselves, want to believe that we are in control of our lives and that we make choices and decisions from a place of objectivity and rationality, and that we really give effort in doing so. And then when things get out of control, we feel overwhelmed and frustrated. And these feelings may lead us to behaviors that are unhealthy and even destructive. Jesus, as usual, offers us an alternative. Today, in this very simple passage, he reminds us that God feeds and clothes the world's creatures. Even the birds of the air and the grass of the field are fed and clothed by the divine hand. If God cares for them, then surely God cares for us as well. The whole of creation, from wing to petal to human beings, are continually under God's delicate, loving care. So rather than living in worry, we are called to faith. Our faith is fundamentally a matter of trusting God. If you will, leaning on God. Not just believing that God exists, but believing that God is actually an intimate, caring parent and a trustworthy deliverer. And this care and this deliverance is for you and for me and for us and for all. It is a matter of trust. We trust in God as our foundation. If truly we are under God's loving personal care, if God truly does will and provide for us, we then believe that our own efforts are not the source of our own well-being. Oh yes, we should work. We should strive to live the best that we can. But we can let go of worrying about it, of worrying about our life. As Jesus says, and can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? What do you think? In truth, God is taking care of us, no matter what circumstances may come and go. Look at the birds. Consider the lilies. They do not worry, and neither should we. Were we to take this seriously, and it's hard sometimes to do so, Jesus goes on to say, we would not only live lives free from unnecessary anxiety and worry, we would also be freed to live lives devoted to the most meaningful things imaginable. As Jesus puts it, we would be freed to live lives seeking after the kingdom of God. To the extent that we can rely on God for our basic well-being, then we are freed for a life of faith. Jesus is inviting us, all of us, all people, into God's realm where priorities are clear. The focus in God's realm is not on our necessities and our possessions, but rather the focus is on where our hearts are. Our participation in God's realm is not about things, but instead it is about God and God's vision for all of creation, including every single one of us. Think about that family dining table again at Thanksgiving dinner. Think about that as a symbol and a sign for God's community. In God's community, people look out for each other and share what they have. People take what they need and leave some for others. In God's community, people think about their neighbors even as they think about themselves. This is where the promise of God's care is discovered. Oh, I know that little ditty, "Don't worry, be happy," can sound shallow. It can sound frivolous. It can even sound unrealistic. And in fact, Jesus tells us that life is not without its issues, its concerns, its challenges. There are setbacks and delays and detours and frustrations. And there are also joys and triumphs and accomplishments. In truth, few of us are exempt from worry and anxiety. Most of us, in fact, are really, really good at it. Most of us have things that we're scared of and that we worry about. Most of us can probably feel the tension in our shoulders or in our back. I don't need to make a list for you of the things that you're worried about. You can do that on your own. And for many of us, we have legitimate reasons to worry and fret, even though we know that that worry will not change the realities we face. Jesus understands this. His call to worry-free living is not based on unrealistic views of the world. His words are for those of us who understand that God will not leave us without resources or support. That we can face life with all of its uncertainties and contingencies with the assurance that we are not alone. God hears and sees and cares about us, even more than the birds and the grass and all the situations that form our lives. The point is that when we are about God's business and operating and living our lives to the best of our abilities out of God's vision for us, we have no need to worry. With our hearts centered in God's love and God's grace, we are assured that we can handle whatever happens. And God will provide for us even more than the birds of the air or the beautiful flowers, the lovely trees, or the grasses of the fields. Now that is something to be thankful for. Amen.